Hello, everybody. I am going to do the midterm review. I'm doing this in video format so you can repeat and take notes as needed. This is going to be given in class, in person. It's timed. You'll have an hour to take the exam. There's 50 questions. Um, what else can I tell you? It is cumulative of the first 6 sessions that we've had. And so I'm just going to go through some of the major concepts on this. Basically, you don't need to know any formulas. You just need to conceptually explain what these things mean. So the first thing you need to know about is what does the number needed to treat and the number needed to harm mean, how it applies to clinical practice, when you might use pharmacogenomic testing. Instead, in looking at research trials, you need to be able to identify the dependent variable, the independent variable. Um, you need to pick out mediators and moderators. You should know the mechanism of action of the medications we discussed in class. You should know the pharmacokinetic properties, be able to explain them and how they may also change in various stages of life and populations. Know about half-life, be able to explain it and how it relates in a clinical situation. You should know about anticholinergic side effects and cholinergic rebound. Why looking at research studies, we need to focus more on primary outcomes versus secondary outcomes. Why is statistical significance in a study important? Why is randomization important? What is the problem with a post-hoc analysis in a study? What's the difference between statistical significance and clinical significance? What's the implication of a confidence interval? Why should it not cross zero? Placebo effects, nocebo effects, determining clinical significance given a confidence interval, sample size, and statistical significance conceptually. There's no math on the test. You just need to know how those things interact to know what to do with that information. Be able to explain and recognize what is a mediator and a moderator. Familiarize yourself with Wilder's law and how it relates to effectiveness of a drug in a trial. You want to know the difference between an effectiveness study and an efficacy study. You want to, like I said, be able to identify a confounding variable. What's the problem with polypharmacy and what is it? Tell me about combination therapy. Why do you do it? Which will explain how you do it. Severe adverse effects, things like akathisia, tardive dyskinesia, serotonin syndrome, and acute dystonia. You should generally know about those, how to identify them, and how to generally treat them. You don't need to know any drugs in specific doses. You should know about therapeutic drug monitoring and why we might do that. You should know about first pass metabolism. What is the significance of nonlinear pharmacokinetics related to dosage changes, as well as first order and zero order pharmacokinetics? You should know about inhibitor effects and inducer effects and how they may relate to psychopharmacology, the difference between the bound versus the free drug. You should know about the significance of ANC monitoring, specifically in relation to clozapine. Know about SSRI discontinuation syndrome. Know about tapering a drug versus abruptly discontinuing and when you might do that. Why is QTC monitoring important? You should know the adverse effects of the mood stabilizers that we've discussed. Just the big ones. You don't need to know minor nuance, just major broad categories and ideas. Distinguish between a withdrawal state versus a relapse state. Also distinguish a nutraceutical versus a supplement from a regulatory perspective. What's the relationship between a nutraceutical and a psychotropic medication potentially? And what about neuroplasticity and neuroadaptation? Those are the major things that will be tested on this 50-question multiple choice test. Just keep in mind the answer is there right in front of you. I wish you well. And my recommendation to help you study is you should take all the lecture notes I gave you. So that's six set of lecture notes and the study guide that you got from this video. Upload it to your Google Notebook. You can actually drop this link into Google Notebook, and then you can interact and be able to answer a lot of these questions so that you can form your own study guide and practice on your own. So I highly recommend you use Google Notebook to help you study if you have a hard time organizing and trying to distill information. So I wish you all the best, and I will be back in New York in a week. I'm available by email.